All in all, I like this draft. I like this draft. Um, I think we got guys that's ready to be physical, guys that'll come down here and want to tackle. So many times last year, um, the biggest thing for the Cowboys was, I mean, they even had a hard time just lining up. You know what I mean? I think, having a cerebral guy like, Caleb Downs, I feel like once he can, get the defense down pat, you know, he's just a leader. You know what I mean? He's a leader. Seem like, and I just seem like, he can restore order in that back end because, like, we've seen so many plays not get made back there. Guys just mixed up in coverage and just all kinds of foolery, man. And hopefully, at the end of the day, these guys still got to get the defense down. Still understand what Christian Parker want them to do, what his expectations of them. But I love the vets we got on the defensive line, and I think now we're gonna have a guy in the back end that's gonna hold some people accountable because, like I said, man, it's just guys missing tackles, guys not knowing what their assignment is. They was just all over the place, those safeties last year. Sometimes you saw them not wanting to commit to making a tackle, and it was just all bad on that back end at times. And hopefully we can shore up that. But I also feel like we still should attack defensive end. I feel like the defensive end room is missing some leadership. Uh, like maybe we can bring in a Cam Jordan or trade for Thibodeau. Something like that. I think that's really what's missing right now. I think right now as we look at everything, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like we can be a top 20 defense. Maybe you get a defensive end, you can maybe be in the 12 to 15 range, hoping. That's what I'm hoping as a Cowboy fan. That's why, you kind of that's why you kind of strive to be, although you want to be the top 10 defense, but we understand that this Christian Parker, and him trying to get the guys up to speed, that's a lot to ask for, but anything is possible. But I think we still need to attack that defensive end room, get a vet guy in here, get a Cam Jordan, or find a way to get a Thibodeau. Also, maybe we could look at linebacker some more. But I like the moves that we made.